we want to look at November 2024. And we're going to look at our paper two. So we are going to look at a question on the stock of valuation. Our question is got 35 marks and requires you to spend on average 25 minutes. So we've got a question on Glass City, and it reads, No Caesar is the owner of Glass City, selling one type of popular branded sunglasses. But anyway, ended on 29 paper 2024. So on the note, we are given where comments or explanations are required. You should quote calculations and figures and or trends, give a reason or an explanation in each case. So we can take note of the two specifications given at the beginning of the question. So on the required part 2.1.1, calculate the weighted average cost of one pair of glasses. So our question is 5 marks. So calculating the weighted average costs according to information given, we'll see that this is the information given. So obviously, we should calculate the value available, the value of stock available for sale, divided by the number of units available for sale. So we are going to say the opening balance in terms of value. We add the purchases for the period, and then we divide by a total of opening stock of units plus the totals are for purchases in terms of units. So basically, this is what we are going to do. So in our answer section, you'll see that we are going to see this is going to be our 2.1.1. So we can just refer to the figures that you are given in the question, whereby we are saying 1,719,000 plus 8,781,000 is our numerator. So we come to answer section and becomes 1,719,000, and then we add our 8,781,000. So this is going to be our numerator. And then we divide by 620 plus 2,308. We are given 620. We add our 2,380. So we can make that our denominator, whereby we are saying 620. Then we add our 2,380. So from there, we can now calculate to see what we get in terms of our numerator. So if we add there, our numerator becomes, the total becomes 10,500,000. And this becomes our numerator. And then we divide by the total of the denominator. So we can as well try to add to see what we get on the denominator. So the total that we got the denominator becomes 3,000. And then if we further divide, we say 3,000 into 10,000, 10,500,000, and you're going to get your answer is 3,500. So this is the weighted average. So basically, this is what we have. So moving on to the next question. Our next question reads, does CSI suspect that some sunglasses were stolen during the year? Calculate the number of sunglasses stolen. So we refer back to the information given. So now we want to calculate the number of sunglasses stolen. So we're going to say the number of units available for sale minus the number of units sold, which we've got 2,050 pairs which were sold. So we're going to subtract this 2,050 from the 3,000 that we got here. 3,000 that we got is the number of units available for sale. So basically this becomes our our 2.1.2. So basically we are saying 3,000, which we got by saying 600, 620, and then we added, we said 620 plus 2,380. This we get the units available for sale, and then we subtract what was sold, which we are given is 2,050. So we can calculate like that, and then if you calculate, you now get the number, the closing stock that is supposed to be there, and then after getting that figure, we are supposed to subtract the amount of closing stock that we have, the number of items that we have in our closing stock, which we are given is 840. So we subtract the closing stock that we are given here. So from there, we can subtract your 840. And from there, you see that the answer that you're going to get is 110. So it means we have got 110, which is outstanding. So remember, the question is saying, calculate the number of sunglasses stolen. So we are saying 110 sunglasses stolen. So that's what we have said. The next part of the question is saying, calculate the rand value of the sunglass stolen using the weighted average stock valuation method. So remember, we've already calculated the weighted average where we got it as 3,500. So we're now multiplied by 110 to get the value. So we are saying 3,500 is the value of land of sunglasses stolen. So we are seeing we have got 3,500 rands is the value per sunglass, is the weighted average. It will multiply by 110 glasses. So that if we multiply it like that, the answer that you are supposed to get is 385,000 rands. This becomes the value of sunglasses that were stolen. So that's what we have on that part. We move on to the next part, which is now 2.1.3. Calculate the value of closing stock using the first in, first out method. So using the first in, first out method, we are concerned, we can just try to see. We are concerned about the closing stock. Remember, the closing stock is showing us that we have 840 units that are in stock. So we're going to calculate them from the bottom. Remember, first it means the first goods to be bought and the first goods to be sold. So it means what is remaining in stock is the recent stock that was bought. So we go to the bottom, we have got 4,200 units indicating the recent stock bought, but we have got 20 units. We have got 4,200 unit price, and then the number of stock that was retained, we have got 20. And we are seeing that this 20 was retained from the stock of the last stock that we have is the stock of November, which is 745. So basically that's what we have. So initially we're going to say 745 minus 20. So we can just go to other section, and we are saying this is going to be our 2.1.3, whereby we are starting by saying uh, 745 minus 20 to get the units of November, because this 20 was retained. So we say 745, and then we subtract our 20, and then you're going to see that the answer that we are going to get is 725. So it means this is the recent stock that we have, which is going to be part of our closing stock of 840. So having that 725, then we subtract 840 to see stock that is remaining. Uh, that is remaining so that we get to 840. So say subtract 725, you're going to see that the other that you're going to get is 150. So basically, this is the valuation that we're going to have. So we're going to have 725, 725 units at fair back. You see that this 725 is part of this 745, which is 4,200 rands per unit. So you multiply by 4,200. So it can be multiplied by 4,200, and then on the other part where we have got 115 units, and then the 115 is the one that is just above the last number of units. So it can be, so this 115 is coming from the 800. Is coming from the 800 units, which has got unit price of 3,750. So we multiply by 3,750. And we start by multiplying 725 plus 4,200 rands. We see that we're going to get your answer is 3,045,000. 3,045,000. So here we have 3,045,000. Then we say 150 times 3,750. You're going to get 431,000. 431,000. What is that? 1,250. So we can as well try to verify the calculations if they are correct in terms of the multiplications that we have there. So if you add the two figures here, you see that the total that we are supposed to get, right, if we add the two figures, you see that the total that we are supposed to get is 3,476,250. So that becomes the total that we have, indicating the valuation of stock using the first in, first out. So we move on to the next part of our question. Right, we are on 2.1.4, which reads: a whistleblower is informed NOSISA that Mika, the salesperson, and Jack, supplier's delivery driver, have conspired to sell sunglasses at a reduced price. During an investigation, it was discovered that the sunglasses sold were invoiced to the business. NOSISA has confirmed that the sunglasses were missing. Explain how NOSISA could have proven Jack and Mika guilty of the theft of the stock. Provide 1 point. So if we go back to the theft that is being accused, is that as we try to refer back to see how the basis of the theft. So during an investigation, it was discovered that the sunglasses were invoiced to the business, and a whistleblower has informed NOSISA that Mika, salesperson, and Jake, supplier deliver driver, have conspired to sell sunglasses at a reduced price. So they have sold it at a reduced price. So obviously, this was identified on the reduced profit that was noticed. That there were sales that took place, but there are reduced profits due to a reduced price, which have contracted the profit margin. So basically, that's what we have. So that's how we can we can have the incident being identified, and also it can be also verified through verification of stock records and through physical stock count upon delivery. So that can also be a way that it can be identified. So uh, we go to our other section and indicate in such whereby we are saying it's now 2.1.4, whereby we are saying uh, it was identified through obviously this is going to be through verification, of physical physical stock count upon delivery. So this is going to be a point that we can raise according to the question, which is explain how no CISA could have proven Jake and make a guilty of the theft of the stock. So basically, this is what we have. Then for the second part is saying, what action should have been taken against Mika and Jake? Provide 1 point for each person. Remember, Mika is the salesperson of the business of losses. So obviously, Mika can be suspended pending pending the disciplinary hearing. That it can involve an issue of suspension or just undertaking a disciplinary hearing because of the incident. So that's what we have. So we have 1.4 for Mika. For Jack, for Jack SD, for Jack SD, Jack now is the suppliers and delivery driver. So we can start by Mika. So we can just indicate here whereby we are saying this is our 2.1 point, 2.1 point is the second point. So we can just say the point that we can raise is that conduct a disciplinary hearing. Conduct a fair disciplinary. And this is in concern of Mika, who is the salesperson. Then we check in terms of the other one is Jack. So Jake, we can simply Jake. Remember, Jake is we can just refer back to identify Jake. Uh, Jake is the supplier's delivery driver. So this is the an employee of the supplier. So basically, since we cannot engage a disciplinary hearing, we can simply undertake a criminal procedure, file criminal charges against him. So that's as how simple it can be. Uh, so file criminal charges criminal charges against it. So obviously that's what we have on that part. We go to see that this is what we have. The second part is saying what action should have been taken by Nick and Jake, provide 1 point for each person. What action should have been taken against Mika and Jake? So these are the points that we have just raised. These are the points that we've just raised here. So we can just proceed to the next part whereby we have 2.2, which is on Slimline, a boutique owned by Mike Geller. for the year ended 20th February 2024. The business sold trousers and casual shirts throughout the year and introduced and sold formal shirts only from 1 November 2023. So on the required part 2.2.1 reads it's for trousers. It reads calculate the markup percentage achieved for trousers. So this is 2.2.1. So we can as well refer to our answer section whereby we are saying 2.1. So remember the formula for markup is equals to gross profit over cost of sales. Okay. Obviously by 100 over 1. So this is how we are going to find it, as we are being told that is the markup percentage for trousers. So let's try to see in terms of trousers. This is the column that we have for trousers. It would identify the gross profit for trousers is given. We can find our gross profit for the trousers. So we can see that we've got cost price per unit, which is 500. We can use this per unit figure, and then we are given the, and in terms of the gross profit, we are not given, we can calculate it. Remember, our gross profit is equals to sales minus cost of sales. So our sales per unit is 920. Then we subtract our cost of sales, which we are given is cost of sales, cost price per unit, which is 500. So we subtract 500. So this is how we are going to calculate it. This becomes your numerator. So come here, remember we said gross profit. So we are going to say for the calculation of gross profit is 920 minus 500. The answer I by 500, which is the cost of sales times 100 over 1. So calculate to see that you are going to get 84%. Then we move on to the next part of our question, which is going to be point 2, comment on whether the markup percentage would benefit the business or not. So remember, if you refer to the markup, we have got 80%, which is a too high markup. So obviously, it's going to lead to the price to be high. And obviously, when the price gets high, the demand will go down. So you're going to see a contraction in sales, which is going to reduce the revenue, which is not a good position. In responding to this question, which is saying comment on whether the markup percentage will benefit the business or not, it will not benefit because of the reduction of sales that are going to take place. So we are saying customers will not buy or pay higher price of the product. Basically, this is what we have in that. And then if we refer to the question, it just needs 1 point. Let's just try to see. It just needs 1 point as we have 2 marks. So we go to the second part, 2.2.2. Casual shares. Comment on how the return of 120 casual shares would affect the business negatively. Provide 1 point. So obviously, this is too high of returns. So this will negatively affect the business because it appears the products are not up to standard. So if they're not up to standard, it will obviously paint a bad image for the business, so which is a negative position. So we are going to respond is, and this is going to be our 2.2.2, 2.2.2, where they say this can negatively affect this can negatively affect the business reputation or image. So basically, this is what we have. So if you refer back to the question, the point that we have, calculate how long it is it will take Mike to sell the closing stock of the four more shares. So we're going to use the formula that is our closing stock over sales and then we multiply by 120. So we say this is our 2.2.3, whereby this is for four more shares. So we go to four more shares column, which is this one. So we're saying the closing stock we're giving it here is 125. We have it is 125, and then we divide by the sales figure that we have. Check what is the sales. So here we can just indicate that we put 125 as the closing stock. Then we check terms of the sales. We have a total units sold 855. So we divide by 855. Then we multiply by 120. I see that the answer that we're supposed to get is 17.5. 17.5. And remember, we are talking about four more shares. This is indicated in the form of, remember, the question is asking us, the person is asking us to calculate how long in days. So these are days. So we are indicating our answer in days. So basically, this is what we have. We refer back to the last part of the question. Comment one point other than might concern other comment one other point that might concern Mike about the formal shares. So what other concern can we quickly pick in the formal column? We can just try to see. So we are seeing that there is a low markup. We see that we have got a markup of 25%, which is a bit low. This will cause problems in terms of the price will go down, and we're going to have higher sales than normal, which is going to lead to shortages, which becomes a situation. So that is what we have that we can present, whereby we are saying for the comment the backup is low. Which may need to be increased. So due to the Maccabi law, this will result in a stock shortage in the future. Yeah, that's what we have in terms of the last part of the question, which is going to be our question 2.2.3. So basically, this is what we have, guys, about this video. Thank you for listening, and let's meet again in the next video.